I'm Anil Kumar, and in this video, I'll take up three examples relating cost, revenue, and profit. So we'll have different approaches for each so that you understand all these functions fairly well. The first question here is, a small company produces and sells X widgets per week. They find that their cost function in dollars is C of X equals to 50 plus 3x, and their revenue function in dollars is R of X equals to 6x minus x squared divided by 100. How many widgets per week should be produced for maximum profit? You can always pause the video, answer the question, and then look into my suggestions. We'll maximize profit, but what is profit? So in our case, profit per item sold, X, will be equal to revenue minus cost, right? That is in general. Profit is revenue minus cost. So what is the net income? Revenue is total income by selling the items. So in our case, we are straight away given the functions. We can substitute the values. Revenue is given as 6x minus x squared over 100. And the cost is 50 plus 3x. So combining these, we could write, we can write like this, minus, let me rearrange, x squared over 100 plus 6x minus 3x minus 50, correct? Now 6x minus 3x is 3x, so we get minus x over 100 plus 3x minus 50. Now to find maximum profit, you could do completing squares. So let's factor out the coefficient of x squared, which is minus 1 over 100. And what you get here is x squared. This becomes negative 300. X minus 50, correct? So now we'll follow the steps for completing the squares and then find maximum profit in this particular case. So we can write profit will be equal to minus means maximum, since the parabola which is related to this function, that negative makes it go like this, correct? So we are looking for a maximum. Now half of 300 is 150. So we can write this as x squared minus 300x plus 150 square minus 150 square, correct? So we add and subtract the same number, which is 150 in our case. So that gives us minus 1 over 100. These three numbers can be factored as x minus 150 whole square, right? Calculator, which gives us 150 square as equal to 22. Let's write on this 22,500 minus 50. Let's open the bracket. We get minus 1 over 100 times x minus 150 whole square. When you multiply these two, they become plus. 100 means gives you 225 minus 50, and then you get vertex form of the equation, x minus 150 whole square, and 225 take away 50 is 175. You could do 225 minus 50, and that gives you 175. 175, correct? So from here you can read the answer, that is how many widgets per week should produce maximum profit. That term has a vertex at 150 and the profit is $175. So the maximum profit is when x equals to 150 numbers, right? So 150 per week, you can say. Is it okay? So that is how you could do it. In this, you have learned that profit is difference between revenue and cost, we can simplify, or rather we can do completing the squares and find maximum profit, right? Let's move on to next category of question. Now here is second example based on profit and cost. In this particular example, equation is not given to us, so we'll also see how to write an equation and then solve such questions. The question here is, student starts small business of selling used books after purchasing from a website. The average cost of the book is $6. He can sell 40 books per week at the price of $10. He learns that for every 50 cents increase in the price, he expects to sell 4 fewer books. What selling price will maximize his profit? Correct? Now let's look into this. What are the things given to us? We are given the price per book is $10, which is each, right, per book. We know the cost price, which is $6 each, right? So how much profit is being made on each book? So profit is selling price 10, so we'll say price minus cost on each book, right? This is on each book, every book. So the cost is 6, the price is 6 and the cost is 6, that gives you $4 each, right? So total profit will be how much? Let's say total profit P will be number of books sold, right? So 4 times number of books sold, 40, correct? And all this is in dollars, correct? So if the book is being sold for $10, total profit is $160. You get an idea, right? So that is the situation given to us. Now the person wants to increase the profit, since he learns that for every 50 cents increase, 4 fewer books are sold, correct? Now, important thing here to understand is cost is fixed. That is $6 each, right? So if we increase price by, let us say, multiple of 50 cents, that is increased by price by 50 times n, it could be 1, 2, 3, 4. It could be 50 cents, $1, $1.50, and so on, right? So increase in price by 50 cents will be how much? Well, initially it was $4, so that will be 4 plus 0.5 n, correct? Per book, correct? How many books can be sold? It's a number of books sold will be how many? 4 fewer books, right? For each 50 cents. So it will be 40 minus 4, and for each. So every 50 cent will give me 4n. Do you see? 4, 8, 12, so on. And therefore now we can write down our profit. So our profit, net profit, total profit will be price, new price, which is 4 plus 0.5 n times number of books sold, 40 minus 4n. Is that clear to you? Right? So this is very important to understand how the profit increases by every 50 cents for a decrease in sale for every 4, where n could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, correct? So n is an integer. Okay, so you can say n belongs to integers, I or c, whatever. Now let's open this, and we can do completing the squares to maximize the profit, right? So when you open this, what do you get? 4 times 40 is 160. 4 times this is minus 16n. 0.5 means half of 40, which will be 20n. And half of minus 4 is minus 2n. Right? So, I mean, this was n square we missed. When you multiply the last term, it will be minus 2n square. Right? 0.5n times 4n. Let's rearrange. So we get minus 2n square, and that gives you plus 4n, and that is plus 160, right? So that is your initial profit. Do you see this figure? Initial profit. Now we will see how we can maximize this. We'll do complete the squares. Let's take out minus 2. We get n square minus 2n, right? Plus 160. Half of 2 is 1. So we get minus 2 n square minus 2n plus 1 minus 1 plus 160. And that gives you minus 2. We can open this bracket, right? So minus 2 times this part becomes n minus 1 whole square, and minus 1 times minus 2 is plus 2, right? And we get 160, correct? And that gives you the price and the maximum sales, which is 162, right? So what we get here is, let me just push this page a bit, okay? So what we get here is minus 2 n minus 1 whole square plus 162. So by increasing the price by n equals to 1, so what you get here is the vertex is at 162, right? Since this is negative, we're talking about a parabola like this. And for n equals to 1, we have maximum profit. Correct? The question is, what selling price will maximize? Selling price, let's write down. Selling price will be, we are increasing the selling price by 0.5n to give maximum profit, correct? Selling price was $10, so now selling price will be 10 plus 0.5 times 1, which is in dollars, $10.50. Doesn't make sense. Since n is equal to 1, as you have seen here, the vertex. Is that clear to you, right? So 1, what is the selling price? We are increasing for multiples of 50 cents. So 1 multiple of 50 cents is 50 cents. So 10 plus 50 cents is $10.50. So that is our answer, right? So our answer is selling price equals to $10.50 each. Okay? Let's move on to the next question now. Now here's the last question. It is very different from the first two. Here you don't have to maximize or minimize anything. You have to match the revenue. So let's look into this question. It is, a publishing company expects to sell 5,000 copies of the new book from its website if the company charges $30 per book. The company expects that 500 more books will be sold for each price reduction of $2. How many books must be sold and at what price for the company to make $156,000, right? So we have to match revenue of $156,000. What is revenue? Revenue is cost times number of books. Number of books sold. Perfect. That is what revenue is. Now in our case, revenue is given to us as 156,000, and the cost is, by default, they say the cost is $30 per book, and when it is 30, you can sell 5,000 copies. Clearly, multiplying these two will not give you revenue of 156,000, correct? So it means we have to look into this in further details. So let's concentrate on that statement, which is the condition. The company expects that 500 more books, that means the number could be increased by 500, be sold for each price reduction, means minus reduction of $2. If I reduce this by $2, is it okay? Now it is not only that, it also says for each reduction of, right? So the word each means if I do it 1 times it is 2, 2 times it will be double, right? N times 2n, and that gets multiplied by n. Do you understand how we got this equation? Now this is the most critical part of solving the problem. So the revenue now becomes cost times number of books sold. Perfect. So let's expand this. You can actually pause the video, do the needful. 30 times, now you have to take care of zeros. So 3 times 5 is 15, and there are 4 zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 times 5 is again 15. So write plus 15, 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros, correct? Minus 2 times 5 is 10, then 3 zeros with an n. And now minus 2 times 5 is 10, 2 zeros with n square. Is that clear? We'll take this to the left side. Write 0 equals to, rearrange. So minus, this is the term with highest degree, should be written first. So minus 1000 n square. Now we have got two terms with n's, where there should be two terms with n. 30 times 500 gives us 15,000 n. So I missed it. Okay, so these are the two terms with n. They should be combined, correct? So let's combine them. Plus 15,000 minus 10,000 gives us 5,000. So it is 5,000 n. And the constants, 150,000. Let me write down. It is 150,000. Take away 156,000. Okay, so we'll redo. 0 equals to, okay, let's take, okay, let's go 2 steps. Minus 1000 n square plus 5,000 n, and this is minus 6,000, correct? You can take minus 1000 common, minus 1000, you get n square minus 5 plus, 5n plus 6. Does it make sense to you? That can be easily factored. So minus 1000. What two numbers will give you product of 6 and sum of minus 5? 3 and 2. So that gives you n minus 3 and minus 2. And that gives you two solutions. So n could be equal to 3 or n could be equal to 2. So we have two different solutions in this case. Perfect. So for each solution, we can write down the number of books and also the cost. So if n equals to 3, in that case, what is the cost? Cost will be 30 plus, minus 2 times 3, which is 6, which is $24, right? In dollars. And the number of books sold will be how many? Will be 5,000 plus 500 times 3, which is 5 times 3 is 15, 6,500. Is it okay? So that is what we get. So you can check if 24 times 6,500 is equal to that amount. So that is a check, right? 156, you should get 1,000, right? So you can check that. Now if I write cost for n equals to 2, now let's recalculate for 2. So if n is 2, that's the second option, right? So we have cost as in dollars, 30 minus 2 times 2, which is 4. So it gives us $26. Is it okay? And the number of books sold will be how many? It'll be 5,000 plus 2 times 500, 2 times 500, which is 1,000, which is 6,000, correct? And now again you can check if the revenue is 26 times 6,000, that should also give you 156,000. Is it okay? So we get two answers. So our answers are, one option is that the cost is $24 and the number of items or books sold is 6,500. Is it okay? The other option is cost is $26 and the number of books will be sold 6,000. Is it okay? So that is how we can solve this question. I hope you find these three questions very interesting. They all are of different types. We have given you concept of profit, revenue, and cost. And we have also taken up examples with the maximum values and also when we want to match a value. Feel free to write your comments, share my videos, and if you subscribe, that would be great. Thank you, and all